Good morning, dear students. I am Miss Vandana Pai. In today's lecture of Relationship Management, we will be focusing on business value chain activities with special reference to Supplier Relationship Management. Prior to actually starting or discussing what is Supplier Relationship Management and how the business value chain activities they are, just let's have an overview of a relationship management. Okay, a relationship management, yes, it is a management of all those relations which are important from our business viewpoint. If we establish our business, while establishing the business itself, we had certain objectives, we had planned for achievement of certain objectives. Those objectives can be accomplished only if we have proper relationships with all the stakeholders who do have interest into our organization. These people, the stakeholders, they positively contribute towards the success of any business. Even the most crucial person into your business activity is the customer. But many of the time, as you might outsource the input from any of the supplier, you might be purchasing the raw materials from some of the suppliers, managing a relation with this person, the vendor who is providing you with the raw materials, without which you can't start your production activity and complete the needs and desires of the customers. So here in this lecture we will be focusing on supplier relationship management and the business value chain activities. Okay, and what is a relationship between these two terminologies. Okay, we will discuss in detail. So what is supplier relationship management all about? What is the terminology supplier relationship management? What it means? What is the definition of this terminology? Yes, we will be discussing here. Now, supplier relationship management is the discipline of strategically planning for and managing all interactions with third-party organizations that supply goods and or services to an organization in order to maximize the value of those interactions. Okay. Now, whenever we consider supplier relationship management, what is this discipline all about? What is this field all about? Yes, it is strategically planning for and managing all interactions with third-party organizations that supply goods and services to an organization. Okay, means see, whenever we think about the production activity, right? Okay, we are establishing a chain between the supplier and customer, right? The supplier and buyer. Okay, meanwhile, whenever we will be doing the manufacturing process, okay, as a part of this chain, okay, the supplier is the first point and the customer is the last point. Okay, now this person, the supplier, he is providing us the inputs without which we can't even start the production activity, or we can't even dream about completion of the production activity. Now, whenever we consider this crucial factor, this person, okay, why he is important? Yes, unless until he provides us inputs or raw materials Yes, we can't dream about the product idea for which we have planned for. Okay, see, whenever we have incorporated our business, at the time we had selected the product idea, right? Okay, now whenever we have selected the product idea, at the time for producing the product, okay, for producing that product itself, we were in need of some of the raw materials, okay, some of the basic inputs without which we can't even start the production activity, or we can't even dream about the product idea for which we have planned for. For example, okay, if our product is four wheeler, yes, we are in need of some of the parts. For example, though we produce the car body or that four wheeler body, still, for example, you might be outsourcing the tires from somewhere. Okay, now can you dream about the four wheeler without tires? No. Okay, it can't make the product complete. Okay, if you think that your product should be complete, then someone should be providing you with the tires. Even for producing the body of the four wheeler itself, okay, you are in need of some of the parts, is it? You might be needing some metals and all those things. Okay, unless until you can't start the production activity of that four wheeler. Okay, if you dream about a complete product, if you think that your product should be completed and your production activity should be completed timely, so that you can dispatch your goods in the market or distribute your goods in the market in time, so that the customers will always fetch the benefit for which they are dreaming about your product, then surely the supplier should provide you with the raw materials in time. Okay, if there is any delay in the provision in providing such type of raw materials or inputs to you, surely your production activity will be also delayed. And if you dispatch or distribute the goods in the market after the season, yes, no customer will prefer your product, or you will not get the expected response from the customer side. So, overall, supplier relationship management, in simplest terms, refers to interacting with and managing third party vendors. Okay, third party vendors means all those vendors, all those suppliers, all those people who provide you with goods, materials, and services to your organization. Okay, each and every person who has contributed towards your production activity. Okay, for example, they provide you raw materials, okay, basic raw materials, or there might be two or three people who might be providing you with the raw materials of different kind. For example, if you are producing a soap, okay, the materials which are needed to produce a soap, okay, that might be provided by two or three vendors. So those two or three vendors, they might be located somewhere abroad, they might be located somewhere far from your business unit. Now you are assembling those. First you are required to collect, that is organize all those raw materials, then you will be starting your production activity. Okay, for example, for producing the soap you are in need of two or three ingredients, okay, two or three raw materials. Okay, and one of your supplier failed to supply you the raw material. Okay, and you were about to start the production activity, because okay, if you made a delay, okay, if you didn't start the production activity right at that time, then what would have happened? Yes, your production activity might not have completed in time. And the second thing, yes, whenever your customer demanded for your product, you were not able to give them or dispatch those goods, distribute those goods to the buyer or the customer. But okay, you were in need of three raw materials, and the suppliers, they have provided only 2 raw materials. One of the supplier failed to provide you with the third raw material. What to do now? Yes, can we produce the product by using only 2 raw materials? No, your product will be incomplete. Your product will be incomplete, or it might be lacking something. Okay, and might be your product be treated as defective product, or the quality of your product will not match whatsoever the customer is needing. Surely the customer will be dissatisfied, or that customer will be unsatisfied. So overall, why to have supplier relationship management? Yes, supplier relationship management means maintaining the relation with the supplier to ensure timely delivery of goods, services which you need for sound production activity. Yes, you choose suppliers that are cost efficient and easy to work with to maximize the value of the relationship. Okay, in practice, supplier relationship management entails creating closer, more collaborative relationship with key suppliers in order to uncover and realize new value and reduce risk of failure. Okay, now what you can do is, whenever you are initiating the business, whenever you are starting the business, yes, you might not be aware about the suppliers, or you might not be aware about availability of variety of suppliers into the same field, variety of vendors in the same field. Okay, so previously or in the initial stage, what you did is you contacted a supplier, you communicated with a supplier who readily provided you with the raw materials. Okay, but even though we had a good communication with the supplier, but still, whenever you are quoting price for your product, you should always focus on cost of production, and somewhere the cost of production includes cost of raw materials. Okay, means whenever you are purchasing the raw materials from the supplier, you should always care about the cost of production also. Okay, means if the supplier is providing you with the raw materials, the inputs, okay, then whether we are paying more for the raw materials or whether the supplier is quoting high price for the inputs, you should always be keen at looking at it. Okay, so yes, without affecting the relationship with the supplier, you should be able to judge. Then the suppliers in all times, in the sense, now as we all know, businesses are prone to risks. Okay, what is the risk? The risk is all about, one day you will be earning good amount of profit, while another day you will be suffering heavy losses. Okay, this is the life cycle of the business actually. Okay, whenever we think about any business, any organization, okay, all of a sudden they might suffer losses, and within a fraction of second they might earn profit. Okay, it depends on the situation, it depends on the market environment and a number of factors also. But in every phase, your supplier, they should be ready to provide you raw materials. Okay, how you can do this? Yes, if you have effective, good relation with these people, yes, with the vendors that provide you goods, materials and services. Okay, then surely they will provide you with, or consistently without any interruption, they will be providing you the essentials or inputs whichever you need to complete your production activity. Okay, now whenever we consider this supplier includes all those people who provide you not only raw materials but also related services which complete your production activity. So in access to this, now whenever we consider supplier relationship management, to improve the supplier relationship management, we need to consider certain steps. Yes, first one is to promote buyer supplier collaboration. Yes, collaboration or collaborative relationship between the buyer and supplier. Okay, means we are purchasing something from the supplier, is it? Unless until we purchase those things from the supplier, yes, we can't dream about our production activity, we can't think about the production activity. So yes, what we require to do, yes, we should take all those efforts or make all the efforts which will ensure the collaboration between buyer and supplier. Okay, means if the buyer has any issues related to the supply of raw materials, then surely that person should contact with the supplier. If the supplier has any issue with the buyer, then the buyer also should be the supplier should freely speak up with the buyer. Okay, why? Because unless until these two people, that is buyer and supplier, they collaboratively take efforts, or their efforts are complementary to each other, yes, both their dreams will not come true. Then listen to the suppliers. Okay, what your suppliers they are suggesting to you, you should always be listening to them, or else, okay, someday if your relation is harmed, yes, they can discontinue the supply of inputs to you. This can happen. So always ensure that you listen or you communicate with that person properly, or you listen to the supplier of raw materials or supplier of inputs carefully. Okay, the communication should always be proper, or else if there is any rudeness, then surely the supplier can stop the provision of raw materials to you. Then you should be able to measure your supplier performance. Okay, the inputs which that person is providing to you, okay, whether it is same or it is degrading or it is upgrading. Okay, all these things you should be able to evaluate carefully, because the inputs, if they are provided to you, are of inferior quality, surely your reputation will be spoiled. Then you should determine the root causes, and you should always be initiating corrective actions for it. Okay, root causes of through which the supplier relation can be harmed, okay, or hurted, or is hurted. Okay, if you think that the supplier is not communicating with you properly, yes, you should focus on the root causes for the said things, and always you should be taking corrective actions so that you ensure the regular supply of inputs from that person itself. Okay, there should be some strategies through which the vendors, okay, two or more vendors who are providing you with the raw materials, they come together, they contribute, they complementary take efforts with you. Okay, jointly they help you. Then in the times of shortages, in the times of shortages, the supplier should prefer you. How they will prefer you? Only when you have good relation with that person. If you don't possess any good relation with the supplier, surely whenever there will be scarcity of raw materials or shortage of raw materials, they will not provide it to you. And surely, as you didn't get raw materials or inputs, you can't produce or you can't complete your production activity, or your production activity will be interrupted at that time. So you should take all the initiatives through which the supplier relationship is managed properly. Then let's see the other part, business value chain. Now let's see what is the value chain. Business value chain. A value chain is a business model that describes the full range of activities needed to create a product or service. The purpose of value chain analysis is to increase production efficiency so that a company can deliver maximum value for the least possible cost. Whenever we consider value chain is a combination of the systems a company or organization uses to make money. That is, a value chain is made up of various subsystems that are used to create products or services. This includes the process from start to finish. Means what is a value chain? Value chain includes all those systems or all those things which a company does, or all those activities which a company is needed to do to create a product. Right from the start to finish, right from the inception to the finish. All those activities which are conducted to make your product a complete product. Those activities, they are included in value chain. So that you produce what you wanted to offer. Now, whenever we consider value chain, Michael Porter developed a strategic management tool for analyzing a company's value chain. Porter breaks value chain analysis into 5 primary activities. Then further, he breaks those down into 4 activities that help support primary activities. Those are called as secondary activities. So let's see what are the Porter's value chain primary activities. Now, primary activities includes 5 activities. First one is inbound logistic, second one operations, third one outbound logistic, fourth one marketing and sales, and fifth one it is services. So one by one we will see what these activities are. Inbound logistic includes the receiving, warehousing and inventory control of a company's raw material. This also covers all relationships with suppliers. For example, for an e-commerce company, inbound logistic would be the receiving and storing products from manufacturers that it plans to sell. Now, inbound logistic includes, we receive the raw materials or inputs which we need to start the production activity, and till we start the production activity, we are required to store it. And where do we store it? In the warehouse. And we recheck that, or we ensure that the inventory, that is the stock of such type of raw materials, whenever we think that the level of stock decreases, we will refill it. So this all activities, they are included in inbound logistic. Okay, inbound logistic means what? It includes receiving, warehousing and inventory control of a company's raw materials. Why to do this? Yes, to ensure that our production activity is continued. Okay, it will not be interrupted. Then operations. Yes, operation includes procedures for converting raw materials into a finished product or service. This includes changing all inputs to ready them as outputs. In the above e-commerce example, this would include adding labels or branding or packaging several products as a bundle to add value to the product. Yes. Okay. Now in inbound logistic, what we did? Yes, we collected, we stored. Okay, we had a check on the inventory or the stock. Then in operations, what we did? Yes, we started the procedure of converting the raw materials into finished goods. Okay, it includes all those things. For example, the packaging, labeling. Okay, all those things are also included in this operations process. Okay, so that the product, the standard product for which you have dreamed for, that will be completed. That will be completely ready. Then outbound logistic. What is it? All activities to distribute a final product to a customer or consumer are considered outbound logistic. This includes delivery of the product, but also includes storage and distribution systems and can be external or internal. For the e-commerce company above, this includes storing products for shipping and the actual shipping of said products. Okay, means outbound logistic means what? Yes, to distribute, to dispatch those goods which you have planned for. Yes, outbound logistic includes all those activities to dispatch or distribute the goods to the customer. Then marketing and sales. Marketing and sales strategies include, yes, all those things such as advertising, promotion, pricing, so as to enhance visibility and target appropriate customers. Okay, this includes all those activities that help convince a customer or the consumer to purchase a company's product or service. Okay, means all those activities conducted by you to focus or target on the consumers or the customers. Then services. The services includes all those activities to maintain product and enhance consumer experience. Okay, to ensure consumer satisfaction, all those activities which are done, for example, repair, refund, exchange. Okay, whenever it is needed, it is included in service. Then the secondary activities laid down by Porter in this respect. Procurement. Procurement means acquisition of inputs or resources for the firm. This is how a company obtains raw materials. Thus, it includes finding and negotiating prices with the supplier and vendors. This relates heavily to the inbound logistics primary activity, where an e-commerce company would look to procure materials or goods for resale. Okay, procurement, just acquisition from where you will be getting the raw materials or from where you will be finding the raw materials. This activity, it is included in procurement. Okay, just acquisition of inputs or resources which you need for the production activity. It is dependent on the inbound logistic actually. Then it is human resource management. Human resource management includes hiring and retaining employees who will fulfill business strategies, who will work or strive harder for completing the production activity. Okay, you can manage the employees who are useful for primary activities of your organization. Then the infrastructure covers a company's support system. Yes, without the infrastructure you can't conduct the primary functions or primary activities, is it? Okay, so it plays a very important role into your production activity, because if you don't have warehouse, if you don't have the factory building where to produce or where to complete the production activity, right? So infrastructure also plays a very important role. Then technological development means development in the research and development, okay, which includes acquiring of the equipments, hardware, software, procedures and technological knowledge, so that you can ensure improvement or ensure the quality into your product. Okay, so as per the research and development, what you should be doing is you should be acquiring the technology which you need to complete the production activity. So these were some of the activities related to value chain. Okay, and these activities mostly they are dependent on the supplier, and if you want to ensure success of your business, surely the relations with the suppliers, they should be continuous, they should be good, they should be sound ones. Okay, because once your relations become unsound, yes, the raw materials or the inputs will not be timely provided to you or not provided to you, which will certainly affect the production activity, and it will affect the quality of your product, even the distribution and the customer satisfaction. So with this we conclude today's lecture. Thank you.